Hello, Norda Vista. Just Mr. Dean over here. It's that time of the year again where we have to have that massive meeting about how to select duties and everything like that. And I'm really trying hard to turn that hour-long meeting that everybody kind of dreads because it drags on forever, trying to shorten it up. So, in this particular email that you're getting this video in, what you're going to get a copy of, you are going to get a copy of this, the paid duties information slideshow that has a lot of information about all the stuff. So, if you need further explanation, there you go. You also are going to get a text copy. We'll come back to this of the draft lottery rules. We'll talk about that because that has to be voted on. And then we will also get a copy of the procedure ballot, of the ballot that we're proposing that we accept at the rep council meeting. Everything is up for vote and ratification and everything like that. But the idea is what we're hoping for is that if you agree to it at the May 7th meeting, we agree to this ballot, which will have everything we need to vote on. And then we can just send that out for a week. We vote, we get it done, and then it's all taken care of. And hopefully that'll be a better use of time than taking an hour and some on some stuff and just dragging out. So, for those of you that are new, there's a bigger explanation over here in the Google Slides presentation. I'm going to give you a very quick, hopefully less than 10-minute explanation of everything on the ballot so that you know what's going on and what we're doing. So, first thing up, we all have extra duties. Okay, we at the beginning of the year we all have extra duty selection, so we have to vote on how we are going to select those duties and how those duties are going to be run. So, on the one thing we have to ask is, hey, how are we going to select duties at the beginning of the year? The typical two options that are here: straight seniority. So what happens is, in order to expedite things, we take the seniority list, we break it up into sections, and then we have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. We usually have up to group 10. The question is, once we go from group 1 to group 10 for round 2, how do we start round 2 and so forth? If we go straight seniority, then we start round 2 starting with group 1 again, and we go all the way down to the least senior with group 10. Or we can do serpentine order, which means we start round 1, 1 to 10, and then round 2 starts least seniority back to most seniority. So it starts with 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. That's the vote right there. That's the two options that we have typically gone with. And that's kind of how we have that on the ballot. If there's any changes that people want to amend, we can entertain that at the May 7th meeting, but that's what's going on there. Duty selection limits. This is the same as this year. We just need to vote to adopt it. The rule is that when you get to a round to select duties, you are allowed to pick two events, but they cannot be longer than the longest duty hours. So, for instance, Six Flags Magic Mountain is 14 hours long. Okay. So, you are allowed to pick up to 14 hours of duty. So, you can pick two duties that are less than 14 hours, or you can pick Magic Mountain, and that would be your 14 hours. So, those are your limits. Two duties per round, not exceeding 14 hours. We just need to agree to that. There are two questions regarding our football situation, our football games. In the past, both Scott Albertson and Tim Hively Scott Albertson has been our scoreboard and clock operator, and Tim Hively has been our PA announcer. Both are no longer staff at Norda Vista High School. In the years past, we have allowed these two to continue on in those duties for Scott Albertson's position because scoreboard and clock operator is a very stressful job, particularly as we're having playoffs and everything like that. And so a lot of people didn't want that duty because they were scared if they screwed it up, there would be repercussions. So in years past, we have voted to allow Scott to continue doing that and to voluntarily remove that position off the duties list. Same thing with Tim Hively. He's the PA announcer. And the idea is we're going to take that off the duty list and let Tim continue to do that. We have to vote to allow both of these to continue to happen. So if we want Scott and Tim to continue doing those duties, we have to vote to allow them to do so and take them off the duty list. Lottery rules. We have updated the lottery rules. Lottery rules are basically what happens if a person signs up for a duty and then they back out. How do we handle that? So we gave you a duty list, which, by the way, if you click this hyperlink, it'll take you to this document right here. The duty list is the duty lottery is pretty simple. In the event that they can't attend, You basically have to contact whoever the point of contact is, or you can contact the ASB or athletics director, or you can contact a union rep so that we can find yourself a suitable replacement. If we have to hold a lottery and there's multiple interests, we can run for a backup list as well. So if we get 10 people wanting one slot, boom, we can run the entire lottery. And then if we have backups and somebody else drops out, we can just slot people in. Particularly like we just did for Knott's Berry Farm grad night, those types of things. That's where we would have a backup list. So here's the procedures we want people to follow. Members will need to send an email where they will have it. Members will be sent an email where they will have at least 24 hours to sign up and join the lottery pool. So our intention is that everybody will get at least 24 hours to say, yes, I'm interested in this event. That way you don't have a random email during a third period you're teaching and then somebody else picks up the duty. No. We want to give you 24 hours so you can respond at least and say you're interested, and then we put you in the lottery pool. Now, if it's a last minute cancellation, we're going to go down to section 5 further below and explain that. Number 2, once the lottery pool window is closed, a lottery will be conducted using a randomizer. We have been using the Wheel of Names, but I'm just using vague language here because maybe one day we go onto the website, Wheel of Names doesn't exist anymore. So randomizer, computer program, other method to ensure random selection. Best practice will be to record such meetings if done on a computer so we could send that video out and say, hey, here's the transparency here. If possible, persons running the lottery will not be on the interest list. However, if we have large events where there's a lot of interested people and that's unavoidable, we will have multiple people in on the lottery. That way they can be observed and everything like that. And of course, if it's digital, it's going to be recorded so you can watch the proceedings. All names listed in the lottery will be pulled and create a backup list in order. As persons drop out, those listed in order will get first opportunity to fill the spot. Now, number 5 is new, day of cancellations. We had several of these this year, and these are areas where people cancel and it's less than 24 hours. Or it is on a non-school day. So I'll give the example. Let's say Mr. Eaton has a theater thing, and we have somebody who is supposed to provide supervision drop out at the last minute on the day of. Here's how it's going to work. If we can't run a lottery to find a new replacement, then we're going to defer to the point of contact, which in this instance, we're talking our hypothetical, is Mr. Eaton. Mr. Eaton would then decide, do we need the supervision spot or do we not? If he says we don't, then we just don't fill the spot. If we do need the spot, then Mr. Eaton, if he has somebody who is a staffer there that can easily fill that spot who's already attending the event, but they're not being paid for the event, he can slot them in as a last-minute replacement. All these will be looked at on a case-by-case basis with admin and the union. But again, this is a last-minute situation just to make sure that we have enough people to supervise students and those types of things. Those are the lottery rules. So basically, do you agree to the lottery rules? Let us know, what's going on there. We have some duties to be added. On the activities side of things, we have to agree to add duties to the duty calendar so people can sign up for those. We are going to be having 2 class events per class. So 2 for the freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. They will have 1 event per semester for 2 events total, and they're going to need 2 supervisors at each one of those for 2 hours a pop. So they need to add those to that. We're also going to be adding the Dive Out movie. It'll be a video yearbook event. We're going to start off with having a minimum of 2 supervisors. However, depending on this year's attendance, we could increase that to 3. We put that in the ballot so that we can have some flexibility. We also want to increase the number of 3-hour graduation positions on the field to 36 supervisors. And then we're going to increase the number of 5-hour graduation positions. Right now it says 9. Marquez has been telling us 10. If he tells us 10 before we have the ballot come out, we'll change it to 10, and there you go. Athletic additions. It's in the very early planning stages, but there are some events that are going to be ticketed now, like soccer. So they're going to need ticket takers, which goes to classified, but they are going to need supervisors. So there you go. So we're just going to vote here to agree that if there's any additional supervision positions, we allow them to be put on the duty calendar because that just gives more people an opportunity to get paid. And the union's always up down with, we're cool with, hey, you want to get paid? Go get paid. More opportunities to get paid? Absolutely. Last 2 questions. When do you want to elect Norte Vista Union site reps for the 24-25 school year? Do you want to elect them before the end of May? That's option 1. Option 2 is, do you want to elect them the first week we get back during the teacher work days in August? make your selections. And then lastly, we had a situation this year where Hillcrest and La Sierra had parent-teacher conferences, and they were there for an hour less than we were, and we never got the option of having a 2-hour conference. And so we are asking you, the union members, do you want us to send the following statement to Mr. Marquez? We ask that Norte Vista teachers be given the right to vote on the same parent-teacher conference options that the other 2 high schools are offered in addition to our traditional 3-hour option. That way, if they're offered 2 hours, we have the right to vote on 2 hours. Last year, we never got a opportunity to vote on a 2-hour option. So we want to send that message to Mr. Marquez, but we want to do so with your guys' support in this election. So that's kind of what's going on there. That's the sample ballot. Now on May 7th, if you want to amend any of these items, if you want to change some things, whatever, that's fine. But hopefully, to speed up the process, if you guys agree with all of these items, we will send out this ballot with your vote, and then you can go vote on the ballot, and then there we go. Hopefully that makes sense, and we'll be there at May 7th on that particular day to clear things up and get things moving. Thank you, guys.